Hey guys, Marsinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so tomorrow, or I guess tonight in the US, depending on your time zone, we're finally getting a slight abatement in the content drought over on Global, and that is that we are finally receiving the Super Strike revamp EZA'S for the two failed Gotenks fusions. So these were released on JP during the Saiyan Day celebration, and not on Global for some reason. I even double checked back at the time, and the event was listed under the actual Saiyan Day celebration info on JP, and they just chose to exclude that from Global. Not really sure why. Potentially with this exact time period in mind, the fact that April is always kind of a dead time for Global in this period that we're in right now. But, you know, in an ideal world, that's not a good reason to cut this from Saiyan Day, right? This should have been included with Saiyan Day like JP, and then they should have just actually come up with content for April. But, you know, either way, it is what it is. That's what's happening. This event is coming out. Some of the Super Strike revamps have been hit or miss along the way, but they're always worth doing because the event does give you a decent amount of stones. We'll go through the event here, but let's take a quick look at the units. So we have the, well, I guess we started with the second one, right, because this is Failure B, but we have Skinny Gotenks. So post EZA, he is a tech types leader for 3 key and 77%. Could be decent as a sub lead for Battlefield, depending on your box, if you still do mono teams like I do. His super attack effect, raise defense for 1 turn, does supreme damage, greatly lowers attack. So again, raising defense for 1 turn is a good super attack effect. Greatly lowering attack is something that can be very useful in Battlefield. There are still a lot of bosses where you can do that, including the current final boss, which is of course Broly. So I think Broly is what, STR at the moment, so I usually run a full AGL team, but Battlefield is still a place where lowering attack can be very, very useful. And I still see comments on some of my videos that people still struggle, especially newer players, right, still struggle with the later bosses in Battlefield. So units that can greatly lower attack, definitely very useful. And then the passive is attack and defense 100%, additional attack and defense 30% per key sphere obtained, so nuking style unit. Attack and defense minus 2%, no more than 10%, per key sphere obtained with each turn passed. Interesting. So turn 1, you get 30% attack and defense per key sphere. Then on his next appearance, I guess technically 2 turns will have passed, right? Because it's been 2 turns since he was on the rotation. So then on his second appearance, he's getting 26% attack and defense per key sphere. That's kind of weird, but I mean, I suppose they have to have, they don't have to, but they have to have some kind of negative baked in because it is the failed fusion. But I mean, even at the max, right, it's 10%, so he goes down to being 20% per orb, which is still decent. Then he gets an additional 50% defense when attacking with 2 or more key spheres obtained. Very easy to get this, and when attacking buffs are always good, right, because it factors in support. Additional attack 50% when attacking, and medium chance to crit with 4 or more key spheres obtained. And then recovers HP with candy. Very few events that do that. Maybe we will get some in the future, who knows. So I would say definitely you want to go additional with this guy. He is a tech unit, so he's going to have 3 level 5 crit anyway. Getting 4 orbs is not particularly difficult. Now his one drawback, of course, is he's a nuking style unit that doesn't create orbs himself. So that could be a bit of an issue. But he's going to have that 30% chance to crit as well as some extra stats when you pick up a couple of orbs. So I would go additional and then probably dodge, because let's be honest, this guy's obviously not going to be like the top unit on your team. But getting that additional super to raise defense would definitely be useful. So yeah, I would probably go in terms of his free to play. I wouldn't probably use skill orbs on this guy, right? But I'd probably just give him the full 15 dodge and then put the rest in additional. But he seems like he could be okay, right? And the thing with these it is still a Gotenks. So if we look at his categories, he's on Fusion, Hybrid Saiyans, Buu Saga, Youth, Special Pose, Heavenly Events, Time Limit, Fused Fighters, and Warriors Raised on Earth. So he's on some good teams. And then of course we have the Gotenks Failure A, or Fat Gotenks. He is a physical lead. His super attack raises defense for 1 turn as well, so that's good. Does supreme damage and has a high chance to stun. So again, some Battlefield events, you can do that. Super Battle Road, obviously stunning is still very powerful. Red Zone, I don't know if any of the Super Strike revamp units are super Red Zone viable, but There are some phases in some of the events where you can stun, but his unit's probably not ideal for those situations. And then let's see, so he has attack and defense 100%, additional 30% per key through obtained, attack and defense -1, no more than 10 per key through of each turn passed. Wait, so he gets -1 per turn passed, and this guy gets -2, but it still has a maximum of -10, so this guy reaches his cap like faster than this guy does, which is interesting. An additional defense 50% when attacking with one or more physical orb, and then an additional attack 50% when attacking and a high chance to crit with 4 or more physical orbs. That's interesting. So this guy has the worst like cooldown on his per orb, but he gets his extra abilities from picking up any key spheres, whereas this guy has to pick up physical orbs, which pretty much by definition makes him worse, right? Because if you get unlucky, you get a bad turn, and he also does not change orbs himself, then you might not actually be able to get any physical orbs with him at all. So that definitely seems, even though this guy loses the buff on his per orb slower, his other conditions are a lot more difficult to activate, which is interesting. And then he has a high chance to crit with the 4 orbs. So basically, looking at the abilities they have, because he has a medium chance, this guy has slightly worse abilities, but they're easier to activate because you need any orbs. And then these guys' abilities are slightly better, but you have to get physical orbs, which, again, in certain situations could be very detrimental to this unit. So that's interesting. And then obviously on the same teams, they have links like Fusion Failure. Who actually has this? Fusion Failure, and then they have the strike links like Bombardment and Super Strike. I really am hoping that they've done more than enough to make a full team now. I know they haven't done all of them, but I'm really hoping that they're going to give us some kind of free-to-play event, maybe for like a free-to-play LR or something, where you have to use only the Super Strike units, because obviously if you put these two together, they are going to share a ton of links. In fact, I should double check, do they share every single link? Saiyan Lineage, Fuse Fighter, Fusion Failure, Bombardment, Supreme Power, Super Strike, Shattering the Limit. Yes, so they are 7 out of 7 link partners. Neither of them are really very good for slot 1 though, but interesting. If we could get an event where it really wants you to use the Super Strike units, I think that would be cool. And then, yeah, Fusion Failure is literally these two guys, and then the free-to-play Veku from the Fusion Story event. Wow. Great link. And all it does at level 10 is recover 7% HP, which is not a terrible effect, but you're going to get this link active on like one rotation ever, because who runs Veku? So this should be like, you know, 25% attack and D. This should be like big bad bosses for these guys or something. That's kind of crazy. But taking a look at their event, so the Fusion Failure. Now, unfortunately, this is 2 units baked into one event, because one of the great things about the Super Strike EZA'S is even if you're never going to use the units, by just doing the event, you do get quite a decent amount of stones. But unfortunately, it is 2 units in the same event, so you don't get double the usual amount, which is unfortunate. So you got stage 1 is where you get your drops. You can get either or. This can be really annoying when you're farming the cards and you keep getting copies of one and not the other. If you do get Gotenks and Piccolo appear as the boss at the end of the stage, you are guaranteed to get 1 copy of each, which is good. And then obviously level 2 and 3 is where you get the medals to give them their original awakenings to SSR. Then we have the new stages are level 4 and 5. Those are the medals that give them their awakening to TUR. And then stage 6 is the typical one now for the Super Strike, where you just get one of each, well, not one, but you get each of the 4 types of medals per run, and you get them for both characters at the same time. So when we look at the missions, I think I added it up. There's like 25 stones in total, which, you know, is good. It would be nice if they had 2 separate events, get a nice extra free multi, but, you know, can't turn your nose up at 25 free stones, especially when it's very, very easy to do. As always with these Super Strike events, unlocking one path of their hidden potential gives you 3 extra copies of the SSR card already. So if you already have this unit farmed up, but you never awakened, like you never opened any of their paths or anything, all you need to do is get 1 of their paths open, and then the game will give you the other 3 copies to open the other 3. So you don't need to farm like a ton of extra units if you have this guy sat in your box from quite a while ago. And then in order to get the EZA done as quickly as possible, if you want to get as few runs done to get these guys done and out of the way, I think it takes is it 3 or 4 if you do all of the things you can to maximize the output. So there's a mission for beating it 3 times anyway. But beating the stage within 10 turns and 5 turns gives you an extra bunch of medals. Beating the stage with Super Boo on the team gives you a bunch of extra medals, and then clear the stage with a Heavenly Events category team. So if you can, make a full Heavenly Events team with Super Boo on the team. It's actually really funny reading this now, considering this is coming out on Global now, and JP has just released an LR Super Boo who has Heavenly Events as a leader skill. It's like they were almost designed to go together somewhat, but very random release order. But by doing all of this, you're getting what, 8, 9, 10, 14 of the bronze medals, and you need, how many do you need overall? You only need 15 for both, and you're getting 14 from doing all the missions, and you get ones from picking up the medals on the actual stage anyway. So you're getting what, 12, 28, is it 40 for silver? So you do need to do, yeah, 40 for silver. So you get, it's one of those weird ones where doing all the missions will basically get you all the bronze orbs, but then you still need to get some of the other ones. So you will do the stage 4, maybe 5 times, as long as you're doing all the missions, which isn't that bad, right? So very quick and easy to get through. 25 stones as a reward. You get a couple of extra things like the Zenny statues, some orbs, which you're basically getting some back for. Well, actually, you get them for unlocking the paths. There actually isn't a mission for rainbowing them, so if you don't actually ever want to even use them, you don't even have to put orbs into them, and you're getting free orbs just for unlocking all their hidden potential paths. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Obviously they don't seem like the craziest of the Super Strike units so far. Some of them have been decent, some of them have been pretty bad. These guys, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the middle. I think this guy's going to struggle with the orbs, but it'll be interesting to see what their stats are like post-attack, because their biggest thing is they are nuking units, right? So if you can get turns where you can get a ton of orbs, they could look somewhat decent, but otherwise not so much, especially this guy relying on physical orbs. But I will do a showcase for them once we get them awakened, so we'll see just how good they actually are. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.